Niggas and bitches, money and clout are not the same. Make sure you get some money because clout don't pay bills.
So, what's up, y'all? This Area Savage. Not gonna make this video too long. So, we're gonna get right fucking started. This is the cover that kind of had a lot of controversy and had people looking back after Key passed and Thug got locked up. So, at the beginning, as you can see, I posted this was released March 25th, 2016. And this album cover is very telling. If you go onto Google, it's many theories as to what the interpretation of this album cover is. But again, he released this album cover 6 years to the date after the next album cover that's on the screen came out. Yeah, it was actually released 6 years later. Now on the screen, you'll see the release date of that album that I just showed you, Punk, and it was released October 15th, 2021. 1 plus 5 is 6, and that is your third 6. So let's pause this for a moment. So check this out. This is crazy. As I'm recording this, I'm realizing there's triple sixes right in our face. I'm about to show them to you. So the last 6 you see is October the 15th, 2021. 1 plus 5 is 6. Boom. If you go 6 years prior to that, that's when he came out with Slime Season 3. Okay? So that's your second 6. The first 6 is the day that he released Slime Season, which was March the 15th, 2016. 1 plus 5 is 6. You got triple sixes right there. Then on January, I believe it was 24th, 2 plus 4 is 6. Your mom passes, and you barely mentioned that. So yeah, that's kind of fucking crazy. But like I said, this shit just be coming as I research and make these videos and just go into my own brain and just think and just look. Not even think. If the shit be there, you just have to be able to, pay attention. So I'm sorry I digress, but I just had to make that point, for this part of the video so, people could be up to speed and understand what I'm getting at. Okay, so on the screen now, you'll see a picture of the birth of the Philosopher's Stone. And now what you will see is an image of Thug. In this image, what you will see is it's 2 of him. One has his hair down, one has his hair pulled back. There is one with a light inside, and one where there is no light, there is actual darkness. And it, again, is him looking at himself. One is representation of the old him, one is representation of the new him, i.e. light and dark. And if you look down straight into the middle, it is a similar shape as to the birth of the Philosopher's Stone, which I showed you all previous to me putting his album cover up. The birth of the Philosopher's Stone is actually a representation of duality, light and dark, and it's also a representation of choice. So if you look at the album cover, it's pretty much the same thing. He's looking at himself, and he is, from my understanding, contemplating a choice. That choice being a choice that he's actually contemplating. Again, the right side represents light, hence the light inside of his ear. The left side represents dark. There is no light. There is no illumination. In the middle, to me, it is the similar shape of the Philosopher's Birthstone. I'm just putting the image here. You do what you want with it. But this artwork is very telling. And when I saw it originally, I was captivated by it because there was so much going on. And I'm just going to break this video down into parts. This is the first part. So this first part is just really looking at the middle centerpiece and the opposite sides of him. So we're going to just keep it there for the sake of this video. So again, one side is light, representation of light. The other side is representation of dark. And in the middle is the setup of the Philosopher's Birthstone, which has many symbolic representation, but I'll get into that in another video. Philosopher's Stone was a mythical substance, and alchemists believed had magical properties, and could even help humans achieve immortality. The manuscript turned up at an auction in Bonds Ham in Pasadena, California on February the 16th, where the Chemical Heritage Foundation, CHF, in Philadelphia bought it. So this is just backing, or maybe a receipt or detail to explain what the birth of the Philosopher's Stone is and why it was significant for Thug to put it on his album cover. In my opinion, it's just representation that he is ready to take the next step to do whatever he needs to do to be immortal. and he pretty much put that in plain sight. And people who understand this group of individuals would understand exactly what that indicated, you know, based on the album cover. In the picture as well, there's a lot of other similarities, but not for this video. Okay, so that explained that. So this part is basically getting into the opposed sides, one being the sun and one being the moon, and a little explanation as to why that's important to have that in imagery. To begin with, these pillars were either brass or bronze. In either case, they came from a combination of the sun metal, and that being copper, the moon, and metal, that being either tin or zinc. The mixture of the sun and moon express harmony and balance. Passing through these pillars represents a chance for a new beginning. The fact these pillars were hollow made an opportune vehicle to store one's baggage of the past, as the lodge does not regard or remember faults of a native prior to joining the lodge. So again, all this is telling you that sun and the moon represents balance and harmony, and passing through each pillar, which is on an opposite side, represents new beginning. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to look at Thug's album cover, and we can see what the sun, which is the light, and the moon represents darkness, one representing harmony, one representing balance. As far as which is which, I'm not too sure about that, but one represents either harmony or balance. So in this picture, as you can see, on one side, Thug is looks like a struggling musician with the guitar. He has his heart on the end of a bow and arrow, which indicates to me that his heart was really into that shit when he first started. And the sun is the light, the enlightenment, the illumination in the back. On the other side, you will see Thug 2.0, new and improved. And I feel that the birthstone is put in the middle to represent immortality. And I feel like in this piece, he's letting us know he's completely willing and ready to cross over from who he used to be to the new him. And again, one side looks like a hut to me, which is similar to the birthstone picture. And as we read in those illustrations, I'm assuming the huts are a representation of empty pillars, and those pillars carry the baggage. So I feel like in the picture where he is the heartbroken musician, it similarly looks like a hut, as in contrast to the birthstone being in the middle, to represent him leaving all his old shit behind. And if you look on the other side, there is not a hut. You can't even see basically the other half of his head because the locks are covering it up, or what look like to be locks. And it's his new improved self. He has on the watch, the jewelry, his legs are crossed, his posture's different. There's no guitar, there's no bow and arrow with the heart on it. It's him, in my opinion, solidifying that he's fully able and ready to cross over to that new immortal self. And I feel like that's been cultivated throughout the extent of his career, and they were just kind of subliminally preparing him for that. And I feel like he's fully aware to a certain extent of getting down or laying down with this specific group of people. And if you are any what bit of intelligent, and from what I just read, you are familiar with the group of people that I'm talking about. All you have to do is go on Google and put in the philosopher's birthstone, and it'll be happy to show you the reference and where that comes from. And then for me, reading about sun and harmony, it should be pretty obvious, the wording in there as to what, you know, I'm getting at. For YouTube purposes, I'm not going to go into that because it's not really pertinent. It matters because it's solidified in his album cover, but it doesn't matter for the content of this video as far as for me to get into detail about that. But what I will say is, again, this is the first part to the breakdown of Thug and how he's been giving us a bunch of symbolism throughout the years. And this is the first part. So if you did enjoy this, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you giving me your time. And yeah.